So guys, welcome back to Cheap Motoring TV, and as always I want to say a massive thank you to our currently 150 subscribers that have subscribed to the channel, like the channel. We've had some people comment on the videos as well, some really positive feedback saying you like the content and everything. That means the world to me, so thank you very much for that. Sorry I've been a bit quiet recently. I know I always say this, but juggling full-time work and being a car dealer, it does get on top of you a little bit, and I haven't been able to do as much content as I'd like. Currently this month I think we have sold 2 cars, one on sale or return, which was a Skoda Rapide. Lovely little car, and it was 2.5 grand as well. You weren't getting cheaper than that for the car. You were getting on a 16 plate with the spec it was. Really nice car. And in other news, we can now offer warranties with our stuff as well, proper auto guard warranties, but that's for another video. I had a really positive meeting with their rep, Carl. I've known Carl years, actually, worked with him in Renault, so just once we started getting a bit better stock wise, I thought I'm definitely going to message him and see what we can offer our customers when it comes to warranties and warranty packages, which we've done. We've had a good meeting, so going forward we'll be able to offer warranties on our stock now. Again, that's another video for another time, but today I want to ask the question, why do people hate French cars? So today we're going to get into it with our latest bit of stock. I know we've stocked quite a few French cars recently, but I thought this would be a good idea for a video with this one in particular. So let's get into it. And here it is, 2010 Renault Grand Scenic. And there was you thinking it would be a Renault Sport, a Clio V6, or one of the Peugeot 205, 106 or a 306 GTI or something tasty. Well guys, I'm sorry to say, we are Cheap Motoring TV. We look to find the fun and exciting in the cheap area of the used car market, and I think we've found it with this Renault Grand Scenic. So yeah, I want to ask the question with this, why does everyone hate French cars? I know you're never too far from someone with a horror story about a French car, and to be fair, it is with good it is with good reason when you listen to them. To be fair, either it's electrical problems which they have suffered with in the past, or it's mechanical. I know the 1.5 in this, I've heard a few people have DPF and turbo issues, and we'll get into that in a minute why I think that might be, and it's not necessarily down to the owner as well, which is, I will get into that in a minute. So yeah, Grand Scenic Renault 2010. It's a privilege spec, which means you've got leatherette, half cloth seats, you've got 4 electric windows, power fold mirrors, walk away locking, keyless entry, keyless go. We've got a rip in the seat there, which we will look to, and to be fair, we probably won't do much with that. We're just going to get this in for a full valet, try and bring the cream back in the wheel. That was probably the worst idea ever for a wheel, wasn't it? A cream wheel. So we'll hop on inside. And you know what? I drove this back yesterday. It is a nice car, this. It drives really nice. We've got dual zone climate control. We've got sat nav, got trip computer and cruise control. Got this handy little nifty thing here as well, that Grand Scenic, so you can slide it forward, which means you can have someone in the back in the middle seat, or you can slide it all the way back and give yourself more room there, more room for your road trip snacks, more stowaway points there for anything really, as long as it's nice and legal. You know what I'm saying, people? It's a 1.56 speed, 110 brake, I think this is. This personally, again, you've got Isofix in all the rear seats. You've got forwards and backwards on the seats as well, because it's a 7-seater. You've got windows and blinds. I don't know how they go on there. I think the thing might have broken off there, but we'll try and fix that. But yeah, we got rear blinds, sorry. We've got dinner trays, we've got pouches in the back. I mean, this is going to be a bit of a rare thing. I don't think we'll stock too many of these, being a sub £2,000 7-seat vehicle. with long MOT, full history. I can't see this hanging around long because I've had a few people ask me for a cheap 7-seater, and they're not really a common thing, I'll be honest. So grab it while you can. Got seats in the back here now. Bear with me. I don't think I've ever done this on it. Yeah, there you go. So you've got seats there. Nice and easy. You haven't got Isofix in the rearmost seats. You've even got a little bit of a boot there as well, which is good. Even with the seats up. You maybe get a little bit of a shop in there. Again, you've got good leg room in this as well. They drive really nice, really nice, these. Nice and comfy. For everything you want. It's averaging 50 to the gallon as well, which is good. What's needed on this? Got a click from the thing there now. I have heard people in the past say these have had electrical issues with these. A lot of that is down to, you see these stowaway pouches that you can keep goldfish in them if you're not careful. That's what they could be used for. They fill up with water. And the reason for that is this. That was the first thing I checked when we went to look at this. There's a bit of a click from the check strap there. Got to be careful. Alarm goes off, you see. That's not a bonus of walkaway locking. Just blip that there. I've got the one key, unfortunately, but you know, beggars can't be choosers, can't they, people? This price point. Oh, we've got gas struts as well. So there is, in my opinion, the best Renault engine. One of the best Renault engines, apart from obviously your RS cars and whatnot. So it's the Renault K9K 1.5. Now, I've heard people in the past with these snap, and to be honest, I don't understand why you wouldn't do the cam belt on one of these after a certain year. I think it was 2007. This tripod just gone there. The crank was keyed. So when I was at Renault, you could get away with doing these with just one drill bit in the cam. Make sure all your bottom pins mark up and everything. And you'd have the cam belt done in an hour and a half, tops. Cam belt and water pump. Honestly, it's a really nice, easy engine. If you've got something like a Dacia Duster, in a Duster, you've got loads of room. It's nice and easy. All your sprockets, so the cam, the fuel, and the crank, they've got marks on the sprocket as well, so you know exactly where. If you get a workshop diagram, it'll tell you where everything needs to point to for it to be in time, which is good. Pop that back up there. So yeah, it's a nice, easy cam belt to do. The only thing I will say is you've got to remember when you tension them anti-clockwise. I have seen a few people do it clockwise because I think it's Vags or something. But the French are quite rare. They do it anti-clockwise, whereas I think most people do it clockwise. So that's the only thing you need to be careful of, really. Turbos as well. Turbos go on them if you're not careful with the likes of oil changes and whatnot. The filter looks quite new there. The filter's a bit hard to get to sometimes, depending what car you're in. If it's in a Megane or a Clear, it can be a bit of a squeeze down there, but again, in a Duster, there's loads of room. I really rate them, to be honest. Yeah, so anyway, back to the point. The reason why the pockets fill up down there is these drains. Sorry, me listening there. These drains fill with leaves and whatnot, and then it backs up, blocks the drain, and then you get water in your footwells, and that causes your electrical gremlins. Other than that, I'm just trying to think now. The real backstory to me, I worked at Renault and Nissan from 17 to 21, and I loved it, to be fair. It was probably the best dealer I've ever worked in. It was great. It was Renault Wirral, on the Wirral. It was great, yeah. Met some great people, made some great friends who I still speak to today. It was great, it really was. Had an employee scheme for the cars as well. You could have a brand new car every 9 months through a loan plan. It was great. So yeah, I do know a bit about Renaults, enough about me. The pockets as well, you've got them down there. Nice and dry in there. So we're going to get this thing, get it valeted. It did have an advisory on the MOT for a near side front tyre, so we're going to get that in. If it needs a tyre, we're going to throw some tyres on it. We're going to get it tracked as well because it's leaning a bit to one side on the road. Yeah, we've got like an aftermarket excuse me, an aftermarket fog light there. I don't know why that is. Maybe find out the fog light don't work, but it's got near full MOT on this and good history, and I'll come into that now. So we've moved and we are back in the Renault Scenic. I'll just go through the history with you. So the reason why I think Renaults get a bad rep is down to maintenance, and it's not necessarily the owner's fault here, because cast your mind back a fair few years now. People in the comments might be able to correct me on this. Itch me back there. So when these cars were brand new, Renault would offer 4 years free servicing, and who doesn't want a bit of that? 4 years, no servicing costs. 4 years free servicing, but the servicing schedule was as follows. So your first year service was a pollen filter. Your second year service was a oil filter and maybe a pollen as well. I think it was a pollen, so that makes sense. The third service was a pollen and brake fluid change. And the fourth was a major service. If it was a diesel, it'd be oil filter, air filter, fuel filter, all your filters and your oil. So that was how Renault were able to make the servicing like cost next to nothing, obviously be more cost effective for them and the manufacturer. And it went on like that as well. So your 5th year service was a coolant change and a pollen filter. 6th year was a oil and filter, but advisory on a cam belt if you had a belt driven engine like this is, the K9K or some of the 1.2s and whatnot. So yeah, that's how they were able to make the servicing a lot cheaper. That meant some cars were going 18,000 miles without an oil change, which this is a strong little engine, but I'd never advise you go 18,000 without an oil change. I'd say 10 or 8,000 miles, especially with this, the K9K as well. Later ones, I think Euro 6, it would dilute the oil with fuel, so it would regen the DPF as part of an auto regen. Many manufacturers did that, and near enough all of them had issues with it eventually. When if the car wasn't doing the mileage, the oil would dilute, bring your engine light on, so you were having a service at like 2,000 miles, if that, your oil and filter change. Yeah, so that was part of that. Now that's why I think these did some people, I'll say they're rubbish, and you have varying turbos, DPFs blocking and whatnot. And that's why, a bit geeky here, if you went for a Traffic or a Vivaro or a Preemstar 16 onwards, you know, the little 1.6 twin turbo, that's why a lot of turbos and chains were going on them, because they were on 25,000 mile intervals, and 25,000 miles is just too long. It's too long to go without an oil and filter change, which obviously they eventually learned in the end, probably with all the warranty claims they got for turbos and DPFs and whatnot. But this has got a good history. This is why we like this. And to be fair, I mean, I know dealers I was at, used to, you could get a service plan. So you pay every month for your service, and then once a year, it would have like £100 to service your car in the pot, basically. That's how much the pot was, depending on what service plan you went for. Now, that would either pay for a pollen filter or an oil filter. It would not pay for both. Now, me personally, I'd always pick for an oil and filter change, because not changing your pollen filter for a couple of years isn't going to blow your turbo up. It isn't going to clog your DPF to the point where it needs replacing. I'd rather spend £180 on an oil and filter change every year than, I don't know, at least £1,000 on a turbo or an engine. And even, to be fair, Renault servicing was quite competitive. I'd say it was really well priced. So we're going back 3 or 4 years now. A full cam belt and water pump kit on this, I think. Yeah, a cam belt kit without the water pump was $399. And that, a Renault main dealer with genuine parts, I'd say that was pretty. You're not going to pay that at like VW or somewhere, are you? You're going to pay double that, triple that maybe. So this has got a good history as well with Renaults. I've had this in fact, when I was asking, have you got the service history for it? He said, oh no, I haven't got the service book. That's because you do not get a service book. I think it was after 2007, they put it all in the owner's handbook. So if we you go to the back of the book, Renault's idea of saving paper. It's quite nifty, but I know a few people would have thrown them away, you know what I mean? Not realising that they've thrown the service history away. So it's one to remember. It's been very well maintained, this. So 1 in 12, 1 in 14, 1 in 15. It went a bit without one often in the book, but then at 20, it had oil and filter and gearbox oil, timing belt kit and water pump at 80,000, so we're well in there. We're on 128, 29 now. And then in 21, it had oil filter, air filter, fuel filter. And then in 22, it had an oil filter and fuel filter. Gets better. In 24, it had new battery and a service, oil and filter. In 24, so 2 months later, it had service in July, and then in September, it had a clutch fitted and a clutch pipe. And then in June 25, I had a full service, rear brake pads, and ABS holder mount brackets. So it's got a full service in June of this year. That's why the oil filter looks quite new. So got good to go there. And it's got a full book pack with it as well. So I'm dead happy with that. So the plan with this is today, I am quite lucky because I've booked 2 weeks off. So I'm off today. But there's no rest for the wicked when you're running a small business. So we are going to now get tyres fitted on this. We're going to get it tracked, and then we'll get it full valet. We'll try and get this steering wheel all, nice and back to the colour it was meant to be. Get some pictures of it. Get it online for retail. And as I say, I do not think this will be hanging around long as well, because it's a cheap 7-seater. And there'll be somewhere wanting one, definitely, probably, hopefully even local as well. Nice and easy sale. No one's having to travel for, which is good. So yeah, we will catch back up when we've had all the work done and this is retail ready. So guys, I am back. We have had the Renault, we have had the tyres done on, we have had the tracking done on it, and the guys at Neston Car Wash have done an epic job, which I will show you now. Got to be quick because the battery is running quite low on my phone, so we're just going to do a quick run around. But yeah, I mean, they've done a swell job, I think. There's odd little scuff down there. It's a family car though, isn't it? 7-seat MPV. It's lived a bit of a life. Tiny bit of lack of appeal there. We've currently got it advertised for £1,500. Please excuse my mess in the passenger seat there. But haven't they done a really good job on that steering wheel as well? We'll go around and have a look at the steering wheel. So I think they've done a really good job on this. I'm well happy with it. To be honest, I didn't think they'd be able to touch it really. I didn't think they would. Still got a bit of wear on the gear stick there, and a little bit on the steering wheel, but it's way better than it was. So we've got this advertised now. We've done a reel on it on Instagram. You can find us on Instagram at LP Automotive Sales. Give us a follow, and yeah, you'll see us on there with that. So we've got 7 seats up as well for the pictures. Nice thing. Hopefully, I don't think this will hang around too long, to be honest. Being a cheap MPV, there's going to be someone somewhere for this, especially in this spec with this history as well. So yeah, I think it'll go really quick. So again, thanks for watching, guys. If you liked the video, please give it a like and give us a subscribe so we can bring you more interesting content like this on cheap used cars, on the antics in the car game, which I'm looking forward to. But yeah, cheers, guys.